Might be wondering, why lions? Why is there a level called blocks and it's black and really white teeth? Which means it's just back on track with easier and auto. I also have a chain on me. I know. It's my dream to beat clubs there. Electrical dynamics is a common. Yes. Don't forget to subscribe. How does one get a name like and subscribe short? Yeah. Every time I'm recording, my screen recording is like, should I disable right now? I'm not sure. Ding, and then you can record. So that's why I said YouTube is inspired. Stereo trillness? You mean troll madness? Oh my god, why is there so much ASMR? WTF is that? Films clone. Do you know what's better than Zaki Films? His story.
My son came home from school crying his eyes out, telling me he was getting bullied because of the huge birthmark on his shoulder. But as soon as the school nurse called me the next day saying I needed to take him to the hospital, I realized how serious this was. She told me another student had tried to cut it off with a pair of scissors, and at that moment, we started homeschooling him. But just as we thought things would get better, my son ran into the kitchen, saying he saw somebody outside. We looked, and quickly found out that same jerk knew where we lived. He started throwing rocks at our windows, leaving scissors outside our house just to taunt him, and when I called his parents and sent proof, they assured me he'd be grounded. Finally, we thought it was over. My son could have his normal life back, but the second he knew he was alone, he threw a brick through our kitchen window and climbed inside, ready to get revenge. He made his way upstairs, calling out how bad he was gonna hurt him, having no idea that my son had just grabbed my loaded handgun. He finally found my son's door and said, "Time to die, loser," and the second he flung it open, my son saw him standing there holding the large knife. The bully lunged at him, but seconds away from stabbing him. My son fired twice, both hitting him in the chest. The ambulances didn't make it in time. It was ruled as self-defense. My son came home from school crying his eyes out, telling me he was getting bullied because of the huge birthmark on his shoulder. I knocked out the smallest, weakest kid in school. While I was Dad measured me for the 5th time that day and screamed, "Why are you still 5'10"? I stared down at my 5'3" dad, and he glared. "Stop looking down at me. No son of mine will ever look down on me. We're going to fix this before it's too late." And so the next day, Dad came into my room with x-rays of my legs marked with red X's saying, "I found a surgeon who will remove these bones so that you can finally be shorter than me. I already scheduled the surgery." I stared in horror while Dad jumped around saying he couldn't wait to be taller than me. I knew I had to make the surgery impossible, so I started running 26 miles non-stop, and even though it hurt, I kept going until my legs gave out because I needed my bones to be so damaged they couldn't operate on me. And then on the day of my scheduled surgery, the doctor took one look at x-rays of my damaged legs and refused to operate on me. Dad got angry. Why? He's perfectly fine. But the surgeon shook his head and pointed at the x-ray. "His bones are too damaged. If I cut into them, they could shatter, and a shard of bone could hit his heart. Your son could die." Dad crossed his arms. "I'm okay taking that risk. Just do it so he can be shorter than me." But the doctor kept saying no, and I thought it was finally over. But when we got home, Dad grabbed his toolbox and said, "If a surgeon isn't going to fix this, then I'll do it myself." He chased me around the house screaming, "Get back here! You will be shorter than me!" I ran outside across the yard, and that's when Dad's foot got caught on the garden hose, and he fell down hard, and I saw both his legs were bent the wrong way. Dad screamed, and I called the ambulance, and when they arrived, paramedics loaded him onto a stretcher while one of them questioned me. "How do you know this man?" he asked. When I said he was my dad, his eyes bulged, and he looked back and forth between my dad and me, and then suddenly asked, "How is he your dad? He's so short." Dad thrashed so hard in the stretcher when he heard a paramedic had to sedate him. Dad measured me for the 5th time that day and screamed, "Why are you still 5'10"? I stared down at my 5'3" dad, and he glared. "Stop looking down at me. No son of mine will ever look down on me. We're going to fix this before it's too late." And so the next day, I got put on. In the middle of a training session, I saw a man's eye peeking out from inside the landing mat, watching the underage girls. Now I was coaching the freshman high jump team, and I knew if I exposed him right now, I'd forever scare them away from coming back. So instead, I decided to make him pay. I started sprinting and jumped over the bar, hitting the mat as hard as possible. The man groaned in pain, and I saw the zip on the mat moving. He was trying to get out. I told the girls to line up, and right as the gap in the mat was getting bigger, one of them jumped and crashed onto him. Again, he violently groaned and coughed. The girl looked down with a worried face. "Ugh, what was that?" I panicked because I knew I couldn't tell her, so I quickly grunted, saying it was just my stomach problems. I had every girl do the drill 5 times each, crash landing on him again and again. I stayed by the mat for every jump, and every time I saw him try to open it, I zipped it closed. He stopped grunting after 20 or so hits, and after training was done, I carried the mat out to the dumpster and called police. In the middle of a training session, I saw a man's eye peeking out from. My son came home from school crying. I knocked out the smallest, weakest kid in school.
Oh my God, the wave is not like that.
Ready, set, pretend. Bring it.
I have absolutely something to prove.
Curvy? It's not supposed to be curvy. It's supposed to be shiny. It's just the first bullet. That is not true. It's never there. It's not there. My brother unlocked the book. He did not find that. Hey, why was it good? Coin? That's only in the tower. in the tower. That's not the tool. That's not cool. That's not a tool. Mama, you only can make that. Huh? Guys, my mom's calling me up while I'm recording. I'm recording! Watching! A finger does wave. No, so you want fire? Oh, I need that water. I need that water. I'm still surviving. No, he's melting. He's melting. Yep, he melted. How are you? Get my water bottle. We made it original.
So who you got?
Local crew. They haven't lost since 1996.
Animated?
Didn't matter who showed up. They owned that pitch. They say Zidane didn't speak for a week.
Right now. Original.
What's wrong? You look depressed.
I just don't know what I am, what I value.
Then let's go to the equations playground.
So this is the equation playground?
Yeah. And we find an empty seesaw, put you on one side, and pick something else.
Yo. Uh-oh. Turning to BSDI's character into one new OC character. But then Steve.
Escape before 6 a.m. Good luck. Grandma, I don't need your good luck. I am my own good luck. Wakey, wakey. Get 5 white keys to open the exit. Repair generators. Don't get caught. Okay. Why do I have this many bags? There's a money bag. I got so much money. Repair the generator.